the Very Late Show with Nate and Noah, in which my desk is too small for my legs to fit under it. Guys, welcome. We're glad that you're joining us once again. It has been a while. Like a long time. Which is for reasons that we're not going to talk about. But anyway, as you can see, I'm very disheveled. I need a haircut. I need everything trimmed. It's day probably 482 of this quarantine. We haven't seen people outside our apartment in so long. I am slowly turning into a moose, if we're being honest. Like that's the level of hair that I have going on. But enough about me and my woes, which are slight. Please welcome my incredible co-host, Mr. Nate Patterson. Give it up. Woo! Yeah.
That's okay. This week just was not.
Yeah. But we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a wild week. It's a wild time to be alive. Anyway, Nate, this week it's been intense. We've experienced some pretty great tragedy, haven't we?
Yeah.
We, you may remember our dear friend, Logan, who appeared on the show a couple weeks ago. He was our inaugural guest. It's really gut-wrenching. He suffered just a terrible injury back at the start of this week. The guy is passionate about fitness. Like, he gets after it. He works.
He's so good at
Yeah.
working out.
If I could reach you, I'd pat your shoulder, Nate.
Thank you.
But yeah, at the start of this week, he set out to just improve his body.
He was gonna be so good.
He was gonna run like a gazelle.
He was gonna be shredded.
Like just abs of iron, copper, magnesium. Yeah, and he started out on his run. He fell. As you can see, he fractured his ankle into just thousands of pieces.
Oh, yeah.
He's still walking. It's impressive. Like we told him to go to a doctor. He said no, and he's just been walking it off.
Yeah, he's been.
It's inspiring. Like if we're being honest, I didn't know it was possible.
Yeah.
But he proved us wrong. And
I thought he was dead for like a week.
Yeah.
He
He was walking.
Broke his leg, but emotions.
I mean, we all process tragedy differently. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, as you know, we pride ourselves on this show only having the best. You can be okay, Nate?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Keep going.
We'll push forward because we're strong. We only have the best guests on this show. We only bring you people that are interesting, that are relevant, and that are captivating. And that will agree to Zoom with us on less than 45 minutes notice. So, tonight's special guest. You listen to podcasts?
I do.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've got nothing else to do right now. You are probably more than familiar with this podcast host and her podcast. They are making waves.
Yeah,
right
if you
now.
don't listen to this podcast, you're not
You are
a
an
good person.
idiot. I'm going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
I know that's harsh.
Stupid.
It is the Girls Being Women Seeking Ladies podcast.
No. It's girls being women eating men.
It's girls speaking words toward other women.
It's girls being ladies.
Yeah.
Beating women. No, it's not it either.
That seems intense. Anyway, her name is Katherine Hood.
Yes.
We've got her live through the power of the internet tonight.
Yes.
Please welcome Katherine Hood. Katherine, how are you this evening?
Just like girl being a lady, being a woman.
Is that
You
what
guys
it's
should
called?
make that the name of your podcast.
That was pretty good.
Really? Yeah.
It's a nice
we
flow
should
to
make
it.
That.
Just remember we came up with that. So
I will. I'll remember to credit a man as my source for that name.
Ooh,
Oh wow.
that seemed a bit
Cool.
angry.
Getting spicy
So-
tonight with my alpaca mug.
Oh, wow.
I guess no one really cares about your mug.
Yeah,
we just care about the podcast.
Yeah.
So
Katherine,
kind of care.
on this podcast, which I might add, it's a very well done podcast.
Yes.
I enjoyed the first episode. You guys have done about 8 more since. I haven't listened to them. I will. I've been busy, life, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Now on this podcast, it's a fascinating concept because
it really is.
It is purportedly just a group of friends hanging out.
Yeah, it has no structure, just kind of like this show. So I like that.
But I sense that even though friendship is like an intense theme of this show, I sense you guys are not really friends.
Oh.
Talk to us about that dynamic and about how you handle your relationship with these women in a professional and also a private sense.
Oh, so about how we fake being friends for the sake of getting clout and the podcast, right?
Yes. Just kind of like what we do with this show. We don't
talk to us about that.
Each other.
Yeah, so we go and I just randomly met them and I was like, hey, you know what? We should all fake being friends and just make a podcast because that's what everyone's doing to get money nowadays or to get famous nowadays.
Is there a lot of money in podcasting? Because we're trying to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So far, we thought YouTube was the way to go. It has been disappointing.
It's pretty terrible.
There's a lot of money in podcast making in a really great way. Yes, Anchor is what we use for podcast, but currently I need to go record an actual ad for them. But if you place it in the middle of your episode, then you actually get more people wanting to put their ads in your podcast. And that's a fun fact, but they do pay. Yes, they
Maybe
do
we
pay.
should. Well, hold on. Speaking of ads and money and sponsorship, tonight we are pleased. We're not actually sponsored by Sweet Baby Ray's,
but we just want to let people know it's out there.
It is.
It's on.
I enjoyed this with my dinner tonight. It is a delightful product. Has a great taste. Sweet Baby Ray's, if you're watching, give us money and we will. Nate will cover himself in this.
I will.
Yeah, I will dip my toe in it.
Here, let's just run this ad right now.
I don't think we have an ad to run.
No, we do.
But yeah, Katherine.
To turn a question back on you, good sir, which toe would you dip in the sauce?
That is the first time that someone has turned a question back on me.
Yeah, usually people are so afraid to be on this podcast, they won't even say anything. Unless we ask them.
The podcast.
This is a show.
This is a show?
When did YouTube become
This is going off the rails quickly. Anyway.
What I'm doing. This is why I'm the co-host.
In continuation of your question, I will not answer that because I'm the host. Now, Katherine, you've experienced a significant amount of fame and popularity with these other women who you
apparently don't like.
Yeah, which I don't know. We might have to have them on and talk about that. But as we all know, Nate and I, we are mildly famous. And
yes.
Fame is not all fun and games.
It's pretty hard.
You recently made a very brave move in kind of coming out that you were quite heavily addicted to Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Which is the amount of stigma around that these days, which I think is unhealthy.
Yeah.
That is a brave move. Talk to us about the recovery process, if there is any, that you're involved in, and just kind of your journey with that. In about 30 seconds.
So I'm currently in group therapy right now. That's actually where I met 2 of the other random women that are also on the podcast, and we recently shared about just some of our experience with that. But yes, that's basically how some of us met. But recovering from that's been very challenging. It's definitely had its ups and downs, but I'm well on my way to making a recovery from the dreaded Animal Crossing.
That's good, and we are heartened to hear that. How are your co-hosts doing in that journey? I don't really know, but I know Did you just forget your co-host's name?
That
We're
is
gonna-
how much they hate each other.
Wow, that is...
Like, Nick, if we did that, I'd be...
I would take this empty cup, just chuck it,
Chug it.
rage.
Ah!
Anyway. Well, Katherine, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of other things you can be doing right now. Just the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
We're honored. We really just we see
You
this.
should be honored. I'm dating you.
Oh, that's
You guys know each other?
we didn't have to get into that. Nate and I have always been passionate about like using the tremendous platform we've built to kind of help out smaller creators and people.
Yeah.
And just
People less fortunate than us.
just we are all about helping people.
Yeah.
And so thank you for allowing us to help you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say we didn't make a podcast episode today, but you can check us out on Instagram at just_GLWs, and you can also go on Emily Beth's Redbubble store and get
Wow,
a sticker.
shameless plug.
Wow.
We might edit that out.
Yeah, no shit.
All right,
here.
well,
Yeah,
Katherine,
goodbye, Catherine.
Goodbye. All right, well, that was interesting.
That was interesting. So, you're dating her.
I mean, yeah.
So, you don't even like the podcast. You're just...
I never said that in those words.
Okay.
I'd like
Okay.
to go on record, being as this is the record, and just point that out.
All right.
I'm passionate about most things.
Like what?
We don't have to get into that. That's a long
Okay.
conversation. But yeah, podcasts.
Podcast.
That's where it's at. Who knows? If this YouTube thing fails, you may see Nate and I on a podcast very
Or
shortly.
You may not, because I'm pretty sure they're just audio.
Wow. Yeah, I walked into that one. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a delightful week. Enjoy some Sweet Baby Ray's. Not a sponsor. Could be soon. We will see you when we see you. And we hope that you have a fantastic night.
And tune in to women just being girls seeking women.
You won't regret it.
Good night.
God bless America.